Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is How to Get Away with Murder, Season 4, Episode 14. And the name of this episode is The Day Before He Died. And next week is the season finale of Season 4, so I can't wait to see how this is going to end because this episode was really good, and a lot went down. So let me get started. So the episode takes place 8 months ago. This is the day before Wes was killed, and we see that Wes, meets up with Laurel's mom, and she calls him by his government name, Christoph. And then we actually see that he's actually taping their discussion. And that's exactly the hard drive that Frank had found on the last episode that he played for Laurel. So pretty much, we see that, she's talking about, the whole Wallace Mahoney case, and, she's pretty much paying him. So pretty much Laurel's mom offers him $100,000 to stay away from Laurel. And we actually see later on that Laurel, Bonnie, and Frank get together. They have that discussion like, okay, this happened the day before he died, and she's like wondering, why didn't he tell me about this? And pretty much, Laurel is telling Bonnie, you need to go to Denver and ask him about this. How did this even happen? And Frank was like, she can't go to Denver because Denver's on her tail, And but then, if anything, there was, I think it was Bonnie who's saying that, look, you need to tell Annalise about this, But unfortunately, Bonnie was like, well, I would tell her, but, obviously I have to talk. I actually got something else on. I got something else to talk to her about. And that something else is Simon, because Simon's awake. So then we see Annalise gets together with Asher, Connor, Oliver, and Michaela. They're waiting on Laurel, and they're wondering what's going on. Why did she get them all together? So Oliver announces that him and Connor are getting married, and that they're going to have a wedding, and everybody's all happy and everything. And then Annalise says that Simon is awake. And the question is he going to talk? And if he's going to talk, what does he know? So we definitely got that going on. All right. So after that, so pretty much we see that Bonnie and Annalise meet up. They got Nate on Simon's case, and we also found out that Isaac is still in the hospital and he's on dialysis. And while they're talking, Oliver comes out and says that I just got a call. Oliver wants to see me. Oliver gets a call and says that Simon wants to see him. So pretty much we see that Oliver's talking to the doctor and everything, and then all of a sudden we see that the detective is there, and the detective is played by my girl Kim Hawthorne from Greenleaf. Shout out to Kim Hawthorne. We actually see that she lets him know that, look, you need to stick to the story, and if any type of derailment whatsoever, yeah, I'm shutting you down. So she's on it to find out what really happened, and they know that he is, they know that Simon is a star witness that can shut this whole thing down. So at the end of the day, the detective's on her job. She wants to get to the bottom of this. So all of a sudden we see that Oliver goes to see Simon, and then all of a sudden he was like, did I do it? And then Oliver is like, what did you do what? And then Simon was like, did I come out to you? So therefore, Oliver lets everybody know we're okay for now because he doesn't really remember much. So Laurel and Frank end up meeting up with Laurel's mom. She talks about, you know, they actually play the rest of the message about the $100,000, and of course Wes was like, "Why are you doing this?" And she's saying that he pretty much Laurel's mom tells him, "She's gonna break your heart. She's always trying to fix things. She tried to fix me, and now she tries to fix men. She tried to do the same thing with Dominic. She tried to do the same thing with Frank, and now she's trying you. I'm trying to protect you." You know, and pretty much he says that he's going to tell Laurel about this, but unfortunately he never did. So all of a sudden, we actually see that they confront their mother about it. So why did you do this? It's because of Taurus and all that. He's like, no, I was trying to protect you. I was trying to, protect you. And, Laurel's like, you're like the last person in the world that can protect me. So the question is, what was her involvement, and why did she go after Wes to try to give him this money? What was the real purpose behind it? And then she says that, he left messages for you on Dominic's phone, but she says she never got the messages. Or did she? Let's keep it moving. Next thing you know, we see Nate and Annalise. They meet up, pretty much, Annalise is like, well, hell, if the gay thing is true, then I guess that we got everything worked out for us, but if anything else comes out, then we got a problem. But then she tells Nate, like, I hate to involve you in this, and he says, girl, what you did for me and my father, man, I'll do anything for you. I got you. So I was just like, okay, Nate is now back on Annalise's team. So that was good because, they're still waiting to hear about the Supreme Court. They still haven't heard back yet. So then we see that, Oliver and Asher are wearing facial masks and everything, and we see that damn Michaela's on her phone about to hit up Marcus. Conover calls her out and is like, let's go in the bathroom now. I mean, so he kind of asked, do you have feelings for him? She's like, I was just texting him and everything. So what is it that you're with Asher, but you want to pretend with Marcus, like he doesn't live here? Like, what the hell's going on? And she's like, yeah, it happened. It should not have happened, and all of this stuff. And he pretty much says that, look, you have the option to make this right. You can either be a cheater or a lying cheater. And the rest is up to Asher. So you need to come forward about it. So next we actually see, so now we see that the detective is now coming for people who were at the party. So she summons Michaela. Because while she was talking to Connor, she gets a call that the detective wanted to question her. So she asks questions about that night, about her and Simon, and that did you care for him or anything like that, and all of this shit. So she's kind of figuring out, okay, this detective's getting information from somewhere. So Michaela pretty much puts it down that, I'm not talking without a lawyer, and shuts her ass down. And I was like, Michaela's sharp as shit. So granted, she peeped that the lawyer was trying to get her to pretty much give her more information, and Michaela was like, look, unless so if anything, if you got any more questions, you need to go through my lawyer. Exactly. Shut this shit right down. So I was just like, Michaela, she got 2 thumbs up for me for that one. Then we actually see, while they're at the hospital, because the thing is, Oliver has become somewhat the mule in this situation because since he's the one who had a close friendship with Simon, they keep sending, Oliver in there to talk with him. And the thing about it, they said that, go in there, to prevent him from talking, tell him he needs to get a lawyer, and that he'll hire me. But they but he can't even stand you either, Annalise, yes, but he likes Oliver. So if Oliver convinces him, then it's a win-win. So we see that Oliver goes in and he kind of just remember that night, and I have to admit, I feel the same way about you too. For some odd reason I didn't know it then, but I do now. And I'm just letting you know that you need to get a lawyer. Then we see Annalise is at the hospital desk asking about Isaac, and they said, okay, if you're not family, you need to provide a name. It's hospital policy. So she provides her name, and then all of a sudden Oliver comes out. She's like, okay, what's going on? What do you say? He's like, well, it didn't work because he already has a lawyer. And guess who his damn lawyer is? That damn Tegan. So Tegan comes up, and she's pretty much saying that, okay, so you're Oliver's lawyer, so you're pretty much Simon's lawyer? And she's like, yeah, I know why I'm here, but what are you doing here, Annalise? What's going on with that? And then she said, don't you think there'll be a conflict of interest? Supposedly he was the one who hacked your card and, tried to steal your files and everything. And pretty much, Annalise kind of put it together no. You're not really defending him. You're defending Laurel's father, Mr. Castile, because you know damn well those files go public, that's going to shut Atari's down. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to put guards on that door so no one, not even Oliver, will be able to get to my client and talk to him again. And you need to kind of get you some rest. It looks like you need it. I'm like, oh, no, you didn't, Miss Tegan. Oh, man. So we see that the reason why they weren't able to find the $100,000, Wes ripped up the check and he threw it away. But then he did take the conversation he had with Laurel's mom, which he put on a hard drive, which is what Frank found on the last episode. He hid it under his sink. And, of course, Laurel lives there now. So we literally see him the day before he died. He literally hides this. And Laura comes in, and they were supposed to have been studying, so she gave him an outline and brought some food. And she could tell that that Wes was kind of out of it or whatever, but she just can't put it together something's not right. But then he kind of says that instead of worrying about me, is there more you want to tell me about what happened between you and Frank? Yeah, her and Frank had sex that night. Had sex, the night or so before. And she was saying that, oh no, I had nothing to say about that. He's like, okay, fine, I just want to know if you had any more to reveal. And then, they both of them are smiling at each other, but yet they both are keeping secrets from each other, Laurel and Wes. So that was crazy. So then we see, now comes the present day, Laurel is in the apartment with Frank, and she's kind of questioning, why didn't he tell me? And she said, and he said, well, probably, and pretty much, Frank was like, well, did you tell him about us? He had his reasons, just like you did. And then, he's still saying that, we should tell Annalise about this. She's like, and then Frank was like, well, maybe your mom's telling the truth. And she's like, or yet she could have used this as a means to get my dad to kill him. And if anything, and the worst thing about it is that my son has been born into this despicable fucking family. But he says that, you know what? Regardless of what happens, I'm going to get your son back, one way or the other. And she pretty much says, no more dead people. Yeah, he kind of says that, but he ain't trying to get that at all, really. Yeah, 'cause pretty much he pretty much said that, look, okay, maybe your dad, probably killed him, and she said, oh yeah, my mom could have set him up, and she could have had Dominic kill him. We don't know, but regardless of the fact, it just doesn't look good. So pretty much Frank looks at his phone and he sees that the emergency alert has gone off about Bonnie's car. We see Bonnie's at the desk and we see Denver is looking at her with a straw, like he wants to take Bonnie out. And Bonnie's right now paranoid, so he calls Bonnie to let somebody know that somebody hit her car. So she's completely, you know, shaken up and everything. And he literally said, I checked the car, everything is fine, you should be good, but of course, Bonnie's paranoid because she knows that she's literally, working with the devil and he's got his eyes on her. But then, she pretty much tells him that, look, you need to tell Annalise about Laurel's situation. I got enough on my plate. So we see that Annalise actually finds Isaac in the hospital. She gets a call from Frank, so Frank was about to tell her what's going on. But then she actually doesn't answer the call, and she's going to walk away, and Isaac notices her. And they pretty much have a conversation, and they go back and forth, and he pretty much says that, I've been following you, doing your case in the Supreme Court. I'm really proud of you. And then he let her know, you didn't do this. And she's saying that, it was my fault. Let me take responsibility for this. He's like, no, it's not your fault. I gave up. The thing about you is that you never give up. You always choose life. And she said, I almost did give up. I almost took a drink in D.C., but he said, but did you? Exactly. You choose life. I, on the other hand, I just seem to never choose that. But then she tells him, like, look, you're not gonna, this is not the end. You're gonna get better. So promise me you're gonna get better and that you're gonna take things seriously. And he kind of turned over and said, like, look, this might be the last time we may see each other, Annalise, because he's an addict. And he doesn't have the same strength as she does. So then we actually see that, I'm going to go back to that. So before that, we actually see that Laurel and Michaela meet up with each other because, Laurel knows about Michaela sleeping with Marcus, as well as Connor and Oliver. The only person that doesn't know is Asher. So she's talking to her, and she was saying that, and she pretty much, confesses, because we actually see the flashback, on the day that Wes died, Laurel and Wes got into this fight, and he pretty much was bringing up some of the things her mother said, that, look, maybe you're trying to fix me, because I know you tried to fix your mother, and he's like, excuse me, where all this is coming from? So, yeah. So pretty much, they pretty much, she's saying that, why is it that I keep making these bad decisions? Like, why is it that I keep ruining relationships? And Laurel says, because of our parents. And then Michaela's like, well, we can't keep blaming our parents for everything. We're grown. She's like, yes, but they set the foundation. They never showed us what a normal relationship is, so we don't know how to maintain a normal relationship. We ruined every good relationship we had. So Laurel has the same issue, and so does Michaela. They just don't work in relationships very well. And she pretty much says, I would have lost it if it wasn't for Asher. So we see that she has immense guilt that she has sex with Marcus. But then at the same time, we see that Asher, Oliver, and Connor are eating Chinese food, then they pretty much saying that, you know what, maybe Simon and Oliver should get married. It'll be spousal privilege. She won't be able to testify against them or anything like that. And then, and it's like, y'all can be like a, y'all can be like a, like a, like a, like a coursome. And he says that, yeah, I wouldn't mind being a coursome, but I do not want to be a coursome with that damn Simon. Talking about Connor. And then, next thing you know, Ashley starts talking about Michaela's relationship, that, yeah, everybody should get married, and I love Michaela and everything, but, we're having intimacy issues. And both Connor and Oliver are kind of like giving that look. And, of course, Asher peeps it. Like, something ain't right here. So after Annalise finished visiting Isaac, she breaks down because, she really does care about Isaac, and the fact that Isaac is willing to just kill himself, literally, that's a lot to swallow, because he's not ready to give up being an addict. But then all of a sudden, while she's breaking down, she gets a call. She gets a call from Nate and says that, Simon remembers everything. He mentioned Laurel, and he's about to give a statement to the police. So he remembers everything. So I'm like, oh shit, it's about to go down. So then, we see Michaela is shaken up, after visiting Laurel. She goes over to, to Connor and Oliver's place, and she pretty much tells Asher, like, look, we need to go home and talk in private. And he literally was like, oh, so you want to go home and talk in private, what, about you being an ambitious woman, or are you being a lying, cheating ass girlfriend, and that you actually had sex with Marcus. And so she immediately looked at them like, you told him? It's like, no, we didn't say anything. He figured it out. I'm like, yeah, like, you forget he's got a sharp mind too. He has instincts, which is why Annalise put him on the team. Yeah, he's goofy as all shit, but when something ain't right, he ain't gonna rest until he figures it out. And that's just how Ash is built. So Asher figured out that she was cheating. So, of course, they get into this really big thing or whatever, and they're going back and forth. Annalise comes over, and she pretty much tells him enough. Simon's awake. He knows that Laura was there, and he's about to give a statement to the police. But before she goes there, she actually calls Laura first and tells Laura to stay her ass there, and that Frank is on his way, because the fact that he mentioned your name, they're going to probably want a statement from you tonight, so you need to stay put. So she goes in, they're going back and forth, Asher and Michaela, and Michaela's crying and everything, and she says, enough, we ain't got time for this. Simon's awake, and he's about to make a statement, and then Connor's like, well, damn, we couldn't put a pillow over his head now if we wanted to. And I'm like, because Connor can't stand Simon. But, we have to find a way to shut him down, because Keegan got guards at the door, so can't nobody get in. So she says, so we're going to have to find a way to get in. And, of course, she's like, yeah, Oliver, you're going to have to go back. So now Oliver goes back, dressed in a suit, and he puts on this front that he's, Keegan's assistant. So the guard lets him in. He goes in there to talk to him. Of course, Simon's all smug, like, so he's saying, like, he's like, look, I need to talk to you. And then Simon's like, oh, yeah, so what, you're going to lie to me again and say that you love me? I knew you weren't telling the truth. And, the thing is, I know everything. And I know Laura was there at that night, and I knew Laura stole something and all of that. And then the next thing you know, he put Annalise on the phone, and Annalise was on the phone, like, and he's saying that, and so pretty much Annalise is like, you need to cooperate. And he's like, I don't have to do anything. I got an attorney, and I'm taking you guys down. And she's saying that, oh, so you think you with your brain damage is going to be able to equate with 4 working minds? I don't think so. And besides, you tend to forget the files are on your computer, so it's all being pinned on you. So your best bet is to not give the statement to the police, drop this shit, and because of this, the fact that you are complying with me since I'm now your attorney, I will make sure that you keep a visa to stay in the U.S. You won't be deported. So they can still put all of this on Simon's ass, but she actually gets him to realize that, look, your best bet is to play on my team and then not to play against us. So he decides that he's Team Annalise, and he fires Tegan. Because Michaela, and also, what ends up happening is that, while Oliver was in the room talking to him, Tegan was in the bathroom, and Michaela was trying to stop her. And she kind of played on Tegan's ego, saying that, here it is, I thought that you was this resilient, powerful woman, but here it is, you answering to a man. It's kind of disheartening that to see you go down like this. And pretty much Tegan at first was kind of intrigued, but then she completely didn't buy it. And she told Michaela that if you like, either get the hell away from here, or I will have this damn guard throw you out in the middle of the street. But then as soon as she goes in there thinking she still got a case, damn Simon done changed his tune that fast. Oh no, I'm not giving a statement, and there's not going to be a trial or anything. You're fired. So I'm like, oh shit, it's going to be something else, because she is representing Laurel's dad. So do you think he's going to take that line down? Probably not. So all of a sudden we come to find out. So then next thing you know, we see that Annalise gets a call from Frank. Frank says he went to the apartment. Laurel's not there. Laurel went to go see Denver. And also we see that Bonnie, goes to find out what happened to that hard drive. She pretty much, took some of Frank's money to go bribe the front guard, that holds the evidence. And so pretty much we see that Laurel actually meets up with Denver, and she pretty much throws things at Denver. She's like, look, I know you're working with my dad, but he's like, yeah, but you can't prove anything. He's like, oh, I can prove a lot. And I also know that he's been funding your campaign for Attorney General. Now, due to the fact that all of this is going on, and she says that also, I got this phone here where it shows that you and Dominic were having conversations back to back, and I also have proof that you were taking money from my father and that he's been secretly funding your campaign, for Attorney General. Now, how good is that going to look, you trying to, build this campaign on lies? So I need some answers. Who killed Wes? And we actually see he gives Laurel some phone records of Wes's phone that night. And then we also see that Bonnie finds out that Denver has the hard drive. He's working on both sides. So I was like, this is interesting. Like, he's playing both sides. Like, he's the one that got the damn hard drive. So we actually see, based on the phone records, Wes did leave a message, but she ended up calling back, Laurel's mom. And they talked on the phone, and he was saying that, look, we have a problem because we all could go down for this. Look, they want me, the police want me to make a confession, and they know about all of us being involved. Well, not them, but he's talking about, all of them being involved, in the in the Castiles case and all of that, And pretty much she's saying, like, let me help you, Wes, let me help you. And he said that, look, there's nothing you can do, and he hangs up the phone. Then she calls Laurel's father and says that he's going to talk to the police. That is where Dominic came in, and that's where Dominic killed Wes. So she pretty much summons her mom to a hotel room, closes all the windows and the blinds and shit, and she goes off. She's like, you and my father killed the one man I love for money, and you did it for money, and you did it so that Taurus could go public. So I knew there was blood money involved in this shit. You both had him killed, to shut him up. Because if he cooperated with the police, that was going to destroy everything because Laurel is involved. So because Laurel was involved, that was going to reflect on Taurus going public. And the mom wanted her cut. So, of course, she was game on killing Wes. So he's like, what makes you think I won't kill you right now? And they left off with that. Then we see that, Laurel and Annalise, meet up or whatever. And then we see that, Bonnie gets a call. Bonnie calls Annalise and leaves her a message saying that, Denver has the hard drive and he's playing both sides. And then the next thing you know, Nate calls Annalise and says it's been an accident. And we see the car has been totaled. So, and then from the looks of it, it seemed like there's a dead body. So, was Bonnie murdered? So, yeah, that's where it left off, y'all. And I'm like, yo, this will be crazy. So it's going to get even more crazier next week because next week's the season finale. And, everything is now going to come to head. So I can't wait to find out what's going to happen next. But damn, because we actually saw that Denver saw the recording of Bonnie talking to the lady. So Bonnie is adding things up. So he's like, okay, she's getting close again. So either take care of her or I will. So, what happened that caused that accident, and is Bonnie dead? So, I think we're going to find that out next week. So, that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social platforms. I have them listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I'll be back with the next episode of How to Get Away with Murder. So until next time, everybody, take care.